Hello there. Today I'm going to talk about law of attractions. Why I talk about this topic? Because lately I've read several books and I even listened to motivational speaker. Most of them always talk about that at least somewhat related to law of attractions. And that is the reason why I wanted to talk about law of attractions. What is law of attractions? It is something that when you think positive, you will attract positive. Whatever you manifest, if you have a positive thinking, eventually you will attract positive. Mr. Jim Rohn, he once said, a pessimistic live in an ugly life. He also mentioned a person look at the window at a very beautiful view of the sun, but that person's point of view, he only see a speck in the window. That's what Mr. Jim Rohn said. Also, I read this book. I'm currently reading this book called Going to the Top by Carol Gallagher. She has her PhD and she interviewed over 200 women in the top 1014 companies, and they are vice presidents, CEO, directors, great leaders. They majority of them always talk about being positive, have the positive of going toward the top, always think a can-do attitude. And even though she did provide an example of a lady named Jennifer who worked for a large company, she has a can-do attitude, but she was overly confident of herself that the company hired her as a vice president, and she did something that it was a big failure, but she learned from that moment and she improved and got promoted into a high level, and it's a big lesson learned because failure, it's a learning experience. My daughter, she provided me this wonderful acronym that she got from school, a letter FAIL, FAIL, which stand for first attempt in learning. This is really good acronym, and she has put that on her board. It's remind her it's okay to fail. I mean, you fail, but you learn from that mistake. Same thing, based on my experience, I have failed several times, but with that mistake, I became much better. The mistake I made me a much better person. Similarly to law of attractions, it's very important to be optimistic. And of course, think about it. A company would rather hire a positive person rather than someone who is negative, who criticize everything. I mean, who would you want to be surrounded with? A positive people or negative people? Because it will impact you. If you there even during back then, there's old saying that if you're in the dark, you will feel gloomy. If you're in the bright, your life will feel better. And there are many successful books that talk about being positive, like the book from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. He provide many positive comments of that if you continuously stay positive, you will attract positive. And also there's a very popular quote from Buddha, a religious belief, that what you think you become, what you feel you attract, what you imagine you create. This is so true. Even Benjamin Franklin said, you gotta mold yourself. If you imagine yourself positively, then you will create yourself positively. If you tell yourself that I'm going to exercise, I will look better. I'm going to, because when you imagine yourself how you will look, it will motivate you to exercise, going toward healthy. And of course, you will begin find ways to exercise and find methods to eat right. And this is really a law of attractions. And also, I wanted to share you with a quote from Albert Einstein. This is the quote that we're going to use for this week. Again, each of the speech that I make, at the end of the speech, I will provide you a weekly quote that relating to the topic. So today is law of attractions. And the quote from Albert Einstein, he said, "Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attraction." Again, imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attraction, from Albert Einstein. See, he say that imagine yourself where you want it to be. You will attract many opportunities related to your imaginations. If you create a path of success, you will that the path that you create will attract many different parts and puzzles that attract to your success. For instance, I got my realtor license 2 years ago, but I have a lot of imaginations of what or where I wanted to be. And then I beginning to know a lot of realtors, brokers that related to my realtor, my field. And there are 4 years ago, I wanted to have knowledge on tax, and suddenly I began to associate with a lot of people who have knowledge about tax, who are in the in profession of tax. They help me a lot, and I grow professionally. Think about what you want to learn, and eventually you will attract to the people that will help you go into that path. Again, I hope that when you have time, please learn more about law of attractions. It will make you think differently, positively, and going toward to a better life. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye.